Sandile, good morning. Thank you so much for making time for us. Unprecedented. A Speaker of the National Assembly arrested on allegations of corruption. What do you make of this? Good morning, Sandile. Can you hear us?
Yes, Adrian, I can hear you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for making time for us this morning. I was saying that unprecedented Speaker of a National Assembly being arrested, handing herself over to the police, facing allegations of corruption. What do you make of this?
Thank you so much, Aldrin, and also good morning to the viewers of Newzroom Afrika. What I make of this is that indeed, we've moved since 1994 from disgrace to infamy. Because what we are talking about here is that the former state president, Jacob Zuma, is still facing charges of the arms deal, which started to paint the ANC with corruption from the start. He was eventually removed from power, state president removed from power due to corruption. Now the Speaker of Parliament has removed herself, at least through special leave from the ANC and also from Parliament, on account of corruption, clear, unambiguous corruption. So we've had 30 years of shameless corruption and impunity in South Africa. This is what this is about.
This is what this is about, but also looking into the raid that took place at the House. And as Junior has indicated, the Sunday Times also reporting this morning that the documents that were found during the raid are in relation to renovations that were taking place at the House. And I guess also part of the recordings that were shared with the investigating directorate about the conversations that happened with the contractor as well as Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula.
Yes, the situation that we are now talking about is the quality of the evidence. The quality of the evidence, because there is a tendency to try to deny the obvious in South Africa. The numbers and so on don't show. The person who was the contractor to the South African National Defence Force, from whom these bribes were demanded, extorted, or whatever the case may be, has WhatsApp records of conversations that were there. Out of the round figure of about 5 billion, I believe 2.3 of actual transactions has been traceable to Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula, which is above the 500,000 rands, which is after which you get a minimum sentence of 15 years for corruption. So there is concrete evidence that Mapisa-Nqakula has been actually physically involved in corruption.
Yeah. And when you look at this case of Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula, this is the head of one arm of the state, the legislative arm of the state. And you look back to the corruption conviction of Jackie Silebi, which then also points to this, and in the case of Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula, it's still an allegation that is being made. But the inference drawn from that is the corrupt relationship that is built between private individuals as well as members of political parties in senior positions who end up in these corrupt relationships with private citizens, and the money that is then being used for their personal benefit.
In this case, this person who is now the accused, and this case has been going on since 2020, which means, by the time she was appointed as the Speaker of Parliament, this case involving her was known to Cyril Ramaphosa and the intelligence agencies of this country. So she was unfit for office at any rate when she was appointed to that position. But also, Noel Ndlovu, the husband of Nombasa Ndlovu, is a member, at least a member of the senior member, Deputy Surgeon General of the South African National Defence Force. Nombasa herself, her background and profession, with due respect, of course, she was an aircraft attendant, these air hostesses, and not a particularly specialized business person of any kind. So we need to be aware that this particular corruption is not necessarily between established business and a corrupt minister or an established mafia, as in the case of Jackie Siledi, and a minister. This is an inside job where a general in the army actually married an air hostess in the airline industry to become a business supplier to the SAN to steal money from them. So it is an inside job by employees of the ANC looting the state. There's nothing here really to implicate private business to any great degree.
Yeah, and as you said, that back in 2021 already, the president would have known about these allegations against Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula. Let's go back to that particular year. Remember that there was a task team that was set up to investigate these allegations when the UDM also brought these allegations to the fore. And the decision was taken that the committee's decision was not to proceed with the investigation, which the DA at the time said was premature, and it seems to overlook the importance of the whistleblower statement. So the ability of Parliament to investigate its own is also being brought into question here.
Parliament, and we need to be careful here, because the Parliament, as far is dominated, I think 57% or something of the kind by the ANC. So anything that is eventually going to require a vote, the ANC is able to suppress. And there is clear, unambiguous evidence that from day one when this case started, the ANC wanted to suppress this case. And they have successfully suppressed it. From their perspective, the perspective that Parliament is unable to investigate anything because it is crippled by the ANC majority, which has been implicated from the start, Travelgate, arms deal. Every year they are launching a new scandal of theft of state resources. So they've never been able to do anything substantial to investigate members of the ANC who are in good books with the ruling faction at a particular point in time.
Yeah. Extraordinary also, if you make reference to the use of political dominance within Parliament, the Para matter as well points to exactly that. But also, Sandile, you have the head of the legislative arm, the National Assembly, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula, being under investigation. Sure, the allegations on Para have been made. The Hawks are still investigating those allegations. The President hasn't been charged on anything in relation to Para. But extraordinary that you have these two senior people in the state being investigated.
Yes. Valvi talked about the predator elites. We are governed by people, these are wolves, who feed on the carcass, and we, the citizens, are this carcass. These are ravenous wolves who govern this country. Badilu Huta, I believe, has talked about a vulture culture, where as the citizens now, at the present time, we are like a galloping wildebeest being chased by African wild dogs who are eating it whilst it is alive and in motion, who are being consumed by the ruling elite, alive this time.
Being eaten by the ruling elite alive this time. Sandile Swana, thank you so much for making time for us. Sandile Swana making time for us this morning.